Now we'll practice our fourth syllable type, which is going to be the consonant LE syllable type. Don't mind where this says Expert Group 1. That's just because for the live training sometimes we put the teachers into groups and ask them to teach the other teachers how to do a certain syllable. So that doesn't mean anything that you'll need to know about. Let's look at word number 1 here. If you taught your students to circle the consonant LE when you did dictation, they're going to be in great shape for moving on with this new syllable type. When I look at word number 1, I see an E on the end, but it's not a magic E. It can only be a magic E if there's a single consonant and a single vowel. So there's way too many consonants in between the vowel and the E for this to be a magic E. But I look closer and I see that it is part of a consonant LE piece. And what we'll do is we'll circle it. Now, usually we would go ahead and find and underline our vowels and make a bridge, but I only have one vowel here. In fact, this looks exactly like the dictation words that we did. So what I can do is simply label the syllable here. Right here, I have what type of syllable? Yeah, just a plain old closed syllable. So that gets a CL for closed. And then what I circled here, I want to make sure I know as a consonant LE. So I'm going to label that CLE. Let's go ahead and look at word number 2. I think we'll actually get to make a bridge here. When we look at word number 2, once again, we see that E on the end. It can't be a magic E, but it's part of a consonant LE. So let's circle it. Great, now we'll go back to the beginning of the word and let's find and underline our first two vowels, label them with a V, draw a bridge, label the consonant on the bridge. We have a VCV pattern here. Now, we would usually want to try a dotted line and try the first way, and I mean you could go ahead and do that, but looking at this consonant, that's an X. We know X makes the sound X, but it has to be at the end. So this X I already know has to be at the end of the syllable, which means I'm going to divide my word here. Now, I don't have any other vowels to underline because this is already circled as part of my consonant LE. So let's go ahead and label our syllables. Our first syllable is what type? Closed. Great. Our second syllable is what type? Closed again. And then what do we do with what we circled? Good, we're going to call it a consonant LE. Example. Example. Great. Let's do number 3 together as well because word number 1 really didn't count and I want to make sure that we do at least 2 together. Look at word number 3. You see that E at the end. Why can't that be a magic E? Can't be a magic E because there's too many consonants between the E and the vowel. But since it is part of a consonant LE, let's go ahead and circle it. Now let's go and find and underline our first two vowels. Draw our bridge. Label the consonants on the bridge. We have a VCCV pattern, so we're going to divide it in the middle. And we're ready to label our syllables. Our first syllable is closed. Our second syllable here, what do you see? An open syllable, just TI. And then what we circled is a consonant LE. Subtitle. Subtitle. I want to point out one thing about this word. You may have recognized sub as a prefix. Yes, sub is a prefix, but that doesn't make any difference. We're going to syllabicate our prefixes as part of the word. We will never circle a prefix. You can only circle a suffix, so we'll only be circling things at the end of a word, like ing, ness, ish, meant, full. Any of those suffixes can be circled, but no prefixes. Keep that in mind as you go ahead and do our next 3 words. Pause the video here, and when you've completed the words, come back to see the answers. Fantastic. How did you do? Go ahead and check your answers with mine.